Yeah. Hello. Hello. My screen is visible, all of you? Okay, okay. Okay, so at the last that we will discuss that all about that cookie injection related thing, where we can see like how we can secure that the cookie, right? And we will see that like how that we can use that the secure cookie function and all. So anyone, any question, any doubt in a cookie injection? Alright, so today that we are going to discuss that about the next injection issue is all about the path injection, right? So path injection, or we can also say that it is a directory traversal. Sometimes we can see like attacker are able to change that the direction, and then it was inject that the some of that the malicious path, or and we can also say that like the attacker was try to access that the file and directories from over that the application server. So path traversal attack, where we can see it was accessed that the files and the directory that are stored onto the web application root folder, right? As we know that like we have the web root folder. If I just open that the folder, so here this folder we have the web application folder where we have all the websites, right? Here in this particular file in htdocs, all the file that you can see is related to the web application, is all about like the html file, php file and so on. But outside of this web root directory, if you go that, so there are the some configuration related files are also are available, right? So as you can see that these all are the files are available onto the htdocs. That means it is the web application file. For example, e-commerce is the web application, lms is the web application. So these all are the some web application. So using the this attack, using the path traversal attack, attacker was trying to access that the files which are stored outside the web root folder. So this is all the web root folder, and if we go outside of this folder, as you can see that these all are the files. So as we see that this is all the Windows system, so here you can see the file like that, but most probably you will get that the Linux server in live hosting. Windows hosting you can see only onto the .NET application most probably, and the other language like a JSP, PHP or support that the Apache server, and which was built onto the Linux server. Most of the case you will see the PHP applications on a live was which having that the Linux server. So in that case, it was trying to access that the files like /etc passwd file and some other configuration file, right? But right now we have that the Windows environment. So in a Windows environment, these all are the some files that we have, right? So here we can see like the path injection is very simple attack, and to protecting from this we can just see that like we are just implement that the whitelisting that only desired files, and we can also block the access of the all other files. So directory traversal, which is also known as a file traversal, is like we can say is a web security vulnerability that is allow an attacker to read that the arbitrary files on the server that is running on a application, and maybe that might include the application code and data. Credentials are there, most probably chances that we can see the attacker was try to extract the credentials. For example, here also that we have that the one password file. If we go here, where, yeah, here it is, password file. Okay, right now it is a local host, right? So I don't think there is any sensitive password are there right now because I'm not configured this all the file properly. But yes, in case if it is configured, so you can see you will get the FileZilla password, FTP password, you will get that Mercury password, you can get that, say for the administrator, right? And the same for the MySQL password also, right? So these all are the files and these all are the things that we can get that using the path traversal attack. So with the help of this attack, the attacker was trying to access that the sensitive files, like most probably we can say it was trying to access that the configurations file, right, where we can see having the credentials for the backend system, and some sensitive operating system files are also are there, right? So sometime also we can see that like that files was available onto the server, it was allowing them to modify the application data or behavior, right? Ultimately we can say that like the attacker was able to take full control of the server, right, in case if this type of the issues are happening. So how that we can inject this all are things that we generally we know that in a code level how the application was vulnerable for this attack in a code level, where that the application was escaped the input from that the user. In fact, first of all, user was give that the any input. For example, it was try to open some of the file and whatever it is, right? And one more thing is that there is no any fixed parameter for that, right? And generally you know like in a bug bounty checklist that we have, like if you get the parameter like a file, so in that case we can see that yes maybe there is a file inclusion attack, maybe there is a path injection attack. No, this all the parameters are depend on to the code, right? Like what developer was write that the variable for the particular parameter. Okay, so let's see that like how we can exploiting that the path traversal vulnerability. So many application that place that the user input into the file path, right, where we can implement that the file. So in that case that these all are the attacks are the possible, where the attacker was trying to inject at the some of the path of the particular file. Basically we can see where we can execute this attack. So obviously that we can execute this attack using the path injection direct traversal. As an attacker, what we are trying to do that we are trying to open any file, right? So in the live application we can just see that from the URL what are the file was opened by the application. Generally there are the many files are there. For example, you can see at the last we are open the cookie.php, right? So cookie.php is the file. So just like that, is there any file was open in the application and it was create some parameter? Obviously it was create any parameter if you as a user, if you open any individual file from the web application. For example, if you read your profile, right, I will just take the example. For example, if you have the website like e-commerce, so in e-commerce when you visit that, then you can go on to your cart, then you can see there are some product are there, and then you select some any individual product. So this product have the particular file where the developer was write that the code, like when the user was click onto the card, then in that case it was show the all the product which the user was selected for the cart. So here we can see that if the application was strips or block the directory traversing sequence from the user supplied file name, then it might be possible to bypass that the defense using the variety of the techniques. So basically we can see that the normally what the developer was to do that max to max developer was implement some type of the firewall or encoding these things are there. And if it is used the encoding method, again the thing is that they are in path injection, there are many payloads, encoded payloads are available, right, where the attacker was trying to implement the encoded payload in a URL. So in that case, we cannot say that yes, if we are used at the encoding in URL, then it was 100% safe. No. So here that we can use that the first of all, like we can see that we are used at the absolute path from the file system root, such as like that file name, whatever the file name it is. Then what the attacker was trying to do, that attacker was trying to open that this type of the file, passwd, right? So this is that like absolute path where that we can see attacker was try to access that this type of the things. And now this is the target of the attacker, and now when the attacker was not able to open this file, so in that case it was try to change the directory. Because see, if we are going to our directory where we are on a XAMPP, and suppose that if we want to open the password file, right? And currently when I will execute the web application in a browser, so currently where we are on, for example, let's suppose that if we are execute this cookie code, right? So right now we are here and we want to open that the file which was available on a web root directory which is available onto the XAMPP. So we go back, 1 back, 2 back, 3 back, and after that we are able to access this file. So in that case, how we can do that? // and then we can open that the file. So right now I will take the example of the Windows passwords file. Okay, if it is like extension, then we can give the extension also, txt file. So this is the way, this is only the way to access any particular file, right? Maybe that if it is used the encoding, so in that case the attacker use the same thing in the encoded way, like about the percentage symbol and this type of the symbols that the used by the attacker. So here that we can see that these all are the file which was tried to open by that the attacker, and if it is successfully opened, then obviously that we know that it was show you that all the content which was available onto this particular file. So now how we can preventing this type of the things? So the first of all, as we can see, we need to avoid the reading file dynamically based on to the user input. Because see, if you are as a normal user, so in that case all the time you don't need to enter some fixed parameter to view your cart product, right? What you can do, that you can just click onto the cart icon and then it was listed all the cart items are there. So in that case, as a user, you don't need to write anything from the URL, right, in any application. So in that case, what we can do, that we can use strong input validation by maintaining a whitelist of the file. This is the first thing. You can maintain that the whitelist. In a whitelist, what you can do, that you can just allow that the file, like from the URL, only these 2 files are the allowed from the URL. The rest of them, all are the file are the block, right? So this is the first mechanism that we can use using the whitelist. The second mechanism that we can use, that the filtering based on a path eliminates, means like we use the fixed file extension. As we know that, like from the web application right now, all the applications, all the files are developed in a PHP. So as a browser, as a user, or as a developer, all are the files you create in a PHP, and browser is also understand on the PHP. So obviously that all are the files are open in PHP or in a HTML. These all are the executable file from a browser. So here from a URL, from a file, we are not allow any other extension. Only PHP extension is the allow, because it is a executable in a browser. The rest of the other extensions, like a text extension, like any JPG extension, any of the extension, we are not allowed from the URL. So this is the protection mechanism that we can use. We can use a special character sequence to trick this filter. So here we can give that the first thing is that there are the multiple approach to secure this type of the thing. One is that you can give the appropriate permissions, but in that case the attack is the possible where the attacker was try to access as a user, and then maybe it was try to perform the privilege escalation, right? Generally we can also do that, like when we are trying to bypass any application, once that we get the server shell. Now what is our the next target? Our target is to take that the root access, right? So this is that the one way that you can give that the appropriate permission, but it is not secure. And the second way is that we can use that the fixed encoded method, like for example we can normalize all the characters and convert it to the encoded way. For example, like a slash is convert to the percentage, right? But again, that I told you that maybe here attacker was tried to do perform the payload in an encoded way. Okay, so it is also not a secure way. The third one is that we can implement the whitelist. Whitelisting method that we can use, but again the problem is that in whitelisting method, in case the developer was created some new file, so in that case all the time developer was also need to update this whitelisting method. Okay, so it is not also a very suitable method. The last method that we can use is that the hard-coded predefined file extension, and the suffix of the path does not limit the scope of the attack. Like means we can open the fixed file extension. Okay, so here I will just write the fix file extension or suffix. Okay, so this method that we can use, whitelisting method, we can discuss that on it later. Okay, we have some other vulnerabilities are also there where we can implement the whitelisting method. In the whitelisting method, we can just use the array. In an array, we can give that the fixed name of the file, and only this file are allowed. Okay, so these all are the some methods are there. All right. So now let's come on to the practical approach. First of all, we can write the simple vulnerable code for that, right? Where you will also understand that how was this parameter was created. So here we can just create a new folder, and then I will give that the name is path injection. So I will just give that the path simply. First of all, that we can write the simple HTML code, okay, for the simple page. Okay, and now in a PHP, first that I will write the simple variable is called the site variable. Let me before it will we will if set $get, and without $get we cannot open any file from a URL. Okay, so as we know that, like as I already gave it to you the example, if you select any individual product, right, so in that case the request is made by the browser is a get only, right? So if it is $get site is or the variable, right? This site is or the parameter actually, right? In a real time you can see like file name, whatever it is. So it is depend on to the developer. If I will give the file, so in that case in URL you will see that file equals to whatever the file it is. Right now I will give that the site, so you can see site equal to whatever the file name it is. So it is depend on to the developer, it was give any name. And now here so $site equal to $get, otherwise in the else statement we can write that the just a second, yes, home.php. Okay, so and then here the last one, include function, include function, and in a include we can. Alright, so here if it is set the $get site, so in that case we can give that the value of the site, whatever it was stored in a $get site, and $get site is the name of the file we will give later. Okay, in the next line of the code I will just give that the path of the files. By default it was open the home.php file, and here whatever that the file are there, for example if user was click onto the about.php, so in that case site equal to about.php, and with the help of this include it was shows the output in a browser. So here you can see the line number 14, include function is a vulnerable only, right? The rest of the code is a normal code to access that the file from the URL. Now let's create that the 3 files. First is the home.php, which is all that I will give a main page. Copy paste. Okay, 3 are the enough I think. So home, about, FAQ, right? These 3 files are the enough. About and the FAQ. All right, and let's create in a path. Let's create a about.php So this is the FAQ page, and the last one is over the home page. This is on the home page. So these all are the 3 pages, dummy pages that I will create. So see, in the index.php when I will open that, so we get the 3 link. When I will click onto the main, so by default, if it is not any page are open, so by default it was open the home.php, right? And all are the pages, output of this page you can see with the help of this include function, right? So now let's execute it. Okay, so now source test, sorry, path I think. All right, so here we will open the path. So see that, so these 3 pages that we have, when I will click onto the about and FAQ, so as you can see output FAQ page, about page and home page, and focus on to the URL site equal to home.php. When I click onto the about, so see that site equals to what? About.php. When I will click onto the FAQ, see site equals to what? FAQ.php, right? So in that case, if you focus on to the parameters, so the name of the file was changed, right? From the URL also, if I will click give the about.php, so in that case obviously it was open the about.php. But if as a user, if you try to open any PHP file, so in that case it is only executed, it is not display you any code are there. But from here, if we will try to open this file, for example password file, let's just try to open this password file from here. I think one more. See, one bracket extra, I think. Let me just check where it was. Here it is. Alright, so if you see that password.txt file is clearly visible in a browser where the attacker was able to see all the passwords, and indirectly we can say that here the attacker was open that the file and attacker are able to read all the data from here, right? So in that case, if this file is open, so in that case attacker are able to open any of the file from URL. Now here the concept is what we use, so I will just copy this. Now see, in a path injection, how the payload was created. See, in a payload, dot dot slash is represent that we are going back, right? And the second is that the extension that is always open from the .txt, .php, whatever it is, but after dot we can see it is extension, right? So our condition is that two conditions that we have. First is that we can remove all the dot slashes from here, okay? Remove dot slash, replace with the space, in case if any user or any attacker was give the dot and the slash from a URL, so it was automatically convert to the space, right? And the second thing is that open only PHP file, open only PHP file. And what we can do that we can convert into the PHP file. For example, right now we are trying to open the password.txt file. Now when the attacker was give this request, so in that case what happened, it was automatically add that the .php at the end, right? For example, just a second. Okay, for example, here as a attacker, if I will try to open this file, so it was automatically convert to the .php, and all the extension like dot is removed from here because it was convert to the space, and slash are also convert to the space. So in that case the name of the file is completely changed. What file that as an attacker we are trying to open, that we are trying to open the password.txt, but after implementing that the code, what the file name was changed because we automatically add the one more extension is called the .php, because from a browser as a secure code reviewer we are only allowed that the .php file from the browser, right? This is what our logic, and this is what we are implement that. In that case there is no any function, include function still that we can use, because without include, for example, let me comment the include code, okay, and let's try to execute it. No page are to open, see, right? So without include that we are not open any single file in a browser. Okay, so now let's try to secure that. So let's come on to the vulnerable code again, and to prevent this code I will just comment the code prevent, because after the class that I just want to share this code with you. So alright, so first of all that in a site variable string replace function that we are going to use, string replace array dot, right? Why I will use array? Because we have the two extension, special character, sorry, dot and the slash. And if you have the one or more characters in PHP, so in that case we can use array. So a simple definition of the array is group of characters, right? So we need to use that the dot and the slash replace with blank space, right? When in a URL, if any dot are there and if are any slash are there, so it was replaced with the space, complete the array. And the subject is what? Subject is over the dollar sign. Subject means where you want to implement that. Our file name was open in a site variable, right? And in a site variable we want to implement this thing. The last thing is that echo file get content, file get contents, and here I will add the file name. Here I will automatically add the one more thing, right? And this thing is that it was automatically add dot slash, right, dot site, which is over the name of the file. Then last that we can give the extension is dot php. This dot is a concatenation. Concatenation means that combining two or more string. So dot is automatically add that, right? For example, see that this is over the file that we want to try to open. Now after converting to over the logic, this file, this URL is become dot slash is removed, right? And then the from a next file, from this file you can see dot slash is automatically add. So let me just add dot slash, and dot php is automatically added. Dot is removed and dot php is automatically added. So in that case, see that the name of the file is completely changed, and I don't think this type of the files are available onto the any server, right? Password.txt, which is actual file that was attacker was trying to open. But what we will do that will remove all the characters dot and the slash. This dot slash is automatically add. Why? Because here we are give the logic. If I will remove here, then in that case it was not add this dot slash. It is for more secure prevention. It is optional. It is not any type of the logic or what. You can add anything out there. It is depend on you. It is a simple string, right? And why we give that here? Because it was changed the name of the file completely, right? So that's it. These two lines that we can give that for the secure, and include is the same, because without include we know that it was not open any of the file. So include function, it is compulsory to we need to give that. So we are give the include function. Now let's try to open the file, and now let's see it was implemented or not. So the first of all, let me just refresh the page, and as you see that when I will try to open the file, so no file is open. The reason is that because if you read the error, file get contents unable to open this file, because we are trying to open the faq.php. So now what we need to do that .php are already there, so we need to remove all this .php from here. Now refresh it, click onto the main page, see, and the by default file is also not open, because see now it was open, but still having the warning, right? And the warning sometime in some issues when you implement the logic. So because see, as a code you write that the means like as a logic is this correct, but as a proper function that we are not use a proper function here. That's why it was gives just a warning. Because see, if you see what is an include function, in an include function it was required the fixed extension of any file, but what we are trying to do that we will not give the include extension in this include file, right? Include function, see home dot inside what we are trying to open that home only, not home.php, but this include is required the proper extension, right? According to this PHP programming or any other else, according to this programming, include function is required the proper extension of the file. But now we will change that the logic, we will not give that the extension in this include function, right? Now how we can hide this one, as we know that we are already discussed about the error handling, so we can just give that the error reporting to 0. Now it was hide that the error and see, right? All are the work properly fine as it is, but now when you try to open from here, see now in URL also it is not displaying that the any parameter extension, sorry, faq.php and all. Now if I will try to open from here // password.txt, enter it, see, file was not open. And if I will remove that the error reporting to see that what actually file is what try to open after this implementing that the code, so see that warning, file get contained no such file or directory. Why? Because the file name is correct, it is a different file. What we are trying to open, that we are trying to open the file is called the password.txt, but according to this code the file was completely changed, and the file was changed to the password.txt.php, and in an include function it was go without any extension. In an include function you can see that it was goes to passwords.txt only, not any extension. And if it is not go the file in an include, so anyhow it was not open any file in a browser, right? So that is how that we can secure this type of the issue. This is how that we can implement this type of the issue is called that the file path injection. We can say it is a file traversing directory traversing attack, where the attacker was changed that the directory. So only this two things. See, the vulnerable thing is include function. If it is in a code, if it is used only this function, so in that case it is a vulnerable. And here we can use these two functions, these two line of the code that we are going to use for securing this type of the issue. And this is how that we can secure the code, right, for the path injection, path traversing attack. How you can identify that? Then identify from the include function, right? And there is no any specific function for that. The same logic you can also use in other language also. The thing is what? Use that the proper of the array and change the extension here. If it is a JSP, then you can implement JSP. Echo is changed in a JSP, because in a JSP that we can print with the help of the system.cat, right? Other different syntaxes are there, that is was depend on to the programming languages, right? So that's it for today, that we can discuss that all about that the path traversing attack, where we can discuss that like how we can secure that the path traversing and path injection attack. Quickly revise again. So in a path injection attack, that we know that the attacker was trying to implement this type of that the file, attacker was trying to change in a directory, and attacker was trying to access that the some sensitive files which was available onto the outside of the webroot folder. And this vulnerability is vulnerable. This is that the vulnerable function is called the include function. And now what we can do that to prevent this type of the issue, we can replace that. We know that as our attacker that we are trying to open the path injection with the help of this one. So what we can do, we can use .. to go back, and then we can try to open that the file. So what we can do, we can replace with dot and slash with the space. So that means what, all the dot and slash are changed to the space, and then at the end we can include that the .php extension. So at the end it was automatically add the .php and / are there before this file. See, / before the file. And now when we are trying to open this file from this parameter / password.txt, so in that case it is not open, because in that case it was not open the any file, because this type of the file is not available. No such file or directory are there, because the directory name is file name is completely changed. Is what we are trying to open, password.txt, and at what the browser was understand / password.txt.php. Why? Because here we will give that the code is that automatically add the .php extension here, right? So this is how that we can secure that the path injection code in a code level. And the same approach you can also use in a other language also. We can discuss it all about the later. Now we don't need to discuss the complete code, only discuss that the secure function in other language also, because now you know the concept, right? So this is how that we can secure this type of the issue is called that the path injection attack. So now if anyone any question, any doubt related to this one or any other else, so you can ask me. I will share this code so you can do the practice onto that. Okay, and after that the 2 to 3 vulnerability, then I will share the lab also. So yes, now if you have any question, any doubt, then you can ask me. If it is not, then you can left the meeting.